Yes, I was raised in Texas, so I was not raised on this high vibe spiritual nutrition lifestyle that I live. I was eating biscuits and gravy and gallons of pasteurized, homogenized glow-in-the-dark milk and, Fruity Pebbles. And I was raised on a very standard American diet for the first 20 years of my life. And then all of a sudden I began to wake up to my body as a vehicle for my spirit, studying Chinese medicine in Dallas, Texas. Around 2001 to 2004, I apprenticed under Dr. Stephen Cook, and I worked with hundreds and hundreds of patients every year, immersing myself in Chinese tonic herbalism and reishi and cordyceps and goji and dendrobium and asparagus root teas and elixirs and oolongs. And I was just waking up to this whole powerful world of plant medicine. And that's when I began to detoxify and clean up my body from the inside out. Flash forward about 4 years, I fell in love with my wife, Arttemis Keszainn, and we were living in Dallas, and we started to experience a profound spiritual metamorphosis where we started connecting to the ascended host of light, the angelic host of light. We started receiving guidance and direction from spirit. And we received a very powerful call from the sun directly to start sun gazing. And this was my entry into spiritual nutrition and living foods. It wasn't through a guru. It wasn't through a book. It wasn't through a disease or an illness like a lot of people find their ways into raw foods through being sick. We found it actually through the sun. And we went to a website, sungazing.com, read the whole website, started using a sacred dowsing tool to communicate directly with the beings of the sun. And our sun is sentient, just like the earth, and our sun actually can communicate to us either through meditation, visualization, or directly through the eyes, through sun gazing. So for the next 6 months in Dallas, Texas, we would get up at 6 a.m. We would do 20 minutes of yoga to wake up the body, and then we would go to Bachman Lake, and we would stand barefoot on the earth, and we would drink in the photonic energy of the sun through our eyes. And Patricia, this was one of the most powerful, sublime, serene experiences I've ever had in my life, was standing at the sunrise every morning, looking directly at the sun, and increasing the time that we would stare at the sun each day. So after about 6 months, we were staring and drinking in the light of the sun up to 30 minutes. And while that was happening, there was actually a transformation and a transmutation of energy happening in my body. The eyes both send and receive light, and our body is actually made of light. And I'll get more into that as we talk tonight. But when I was standing on the earth and I was looking at the sun, I began to connect directly to the photonic energy of the sun that enlivens all plants, animals, and humans. I began drinking it in. I began literally feeding through my eyes on this energy. And after about 25 minutes, the light began to charge my mind, and I could feel this divine cascade, this energy of the light of the sun entering my brain, filling it like a sponge, and then moving from my brain, my pituitary and pineal gland, down my chakra system to my thyroid, parathyroid, thymus gland, pancreas, adrenals, and gonads. And literally, my whole body started to fill with light. The experiences I had doing this were a deep sense of awe and presence for nature and for the earth and the sun. And I began to connect more deeply with the earth and the sun through this process. Well, in the middle of our sun gazing process, we moved to Asheville, North Carolina, and we continued the process in the mountains. And I went through a lot of little mini healing crises where I later found out through the website and through my experience sun gazing that I was cleaning my body with light. I was cleaning my physical body. Also, my emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies were being cleansed in this process. And the subtle bodies were receiving this energy. And after about 8 to 9 months, we were up to 44 minutes of practice, and we intuitively went 90% raw and vegan. Now, it's very challenging to do a sun gazing practice if you're not eating light, living foods, because you'll get a lot of seesaw, and there'll be negative consequences. So through this process of consuming light and becoming in receiving this light of God through the sun, we naturally shifted into a living food lifestyle. And our bodies began continuing this metamorphosis after the sun gazing through living food nutrition. And so we got a bunch of books, we got a dehydrator, a blender, and we just started traveling the country being 90% raw. We lived in Northern California for 6 months, worked with a lot of conscious companies doing raw food chefing, coaching, counseling. And then 6 months after our sun gazing journey, that's when we landed at the Tree of Life Rejuvenation Center, working with Dr. Gabriel Cousins. And that experience of the Tree of Life really affirmed to me the power of living food nutrition filled with coherent light and the love of God qualified through photosynthesis. The plant kingdom, specifically the fruits and vegetables and the high water content fruits, they qualify the breath of God, which is the sun rays, the photons, into the light of God made manifest into photosynthesis and through photosynthesis. And so when we're eating a high raw living foods diet, it's a pathway to actually help the body heal and awaken, and it helped me immensely. I experienced a profound transformation and continue to.